Real estate is one of the only professions, it's ridiculous, where resale agents as well, you don't take an upfront
Deposit.
fee. You don't take a deposit from a client. So what can happen in a downward market if you're not incredibly choosy with clients and pre-qualifying them properly is if you've got 10 listings and it costs, depending on how large the property is and what it is, you're already in for the 10 listings for marketing at least $10,000. Okay, at least.
Good morning. Welcome to our latest episode. I'm Jenny Woon.
I'm Toni Singh.
And today's episode, we're just going to get real. We're just going to give our unpopular opinion because we are the star of the show, actually.
Yep, for sure. We are.
But before we start, I think this episode is going to be more like a venting session because there's a lot that I want to get off my chest. And whether or not someone listens to this episode or not, I think at least you're here with me, Toni, just feeling the pain of how this technology and some of the things that this business we have to deal with doesn't make a lot of sense.
I'm so happy that you said this. Oh, okay.
But before we get started, I have some questions to ask you because just in case some of our listeners are just tuning in for the very first time, they may not know us very well.
Okay, ask away, and then I'll ask you some on the spot, on the fly.
Sure.
Okay.
But it's got to be more than like tea or coffee.
Okay.
Okay. So selling sunset or love is blind?
I don't. Oh, wait, I do. Nope. I'm not a
Don't lie.
No,
Don't
no.
lie.
When you said Love is Blind, I thought you meant the one. I don't know what it's called, but it's a beautiful show. I don't watch either of those crappy. Sorry, this is the episode where we can say whatever we want, right? I don't believe in those types of shows. I think it's too drama ridden and it distracts people from everyday life. It's mindless. So sorry if you watch it. It's okay, but I can't dedicate my time to it.
Love is real. Their love is real. They got married. Like a couple of people got married.
So a better show to watch, what are these kinds called? It's
reality shows?
Yeah, thank you. Reality shows. The only one that I loved, it's Love on the Spectrum. Have you seen that?
Yes, that's very lovely. That's very lovely.
My husband and I watched that. That's the only one I'll watch.
I actually cried on
We did too.
Michael, he's so funny.
I know. Anyhow, so yeah, that's literally the only reality TV that I'll watch.
But you know what they have in similar? Like, you don't watch them, but they have similarities.
Okay. I've never seen even one episode of The Bachelor. All of my girlfriends watch that. I just don't have time.
Yeah, Bachelor I haven't watched for a while.
Like, I've never seen an episode.
It is the most dramatic episode
That's probably why I
you
can't
will
handle it.
ever watch.
I don't know if you've noticed,
show.
But I don't like drama.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Okay, well, I mean, this episode's all about drama, so be prepared.
Okay.
Okay, well, next question, since you couldn't answer the first one. Clubhouse or Zoom?
You also know I hate social media.
I'm off to a good start
Zoom.
here. Okay, Zoom, good. What app or source do you wish was available to agents?
I'm like the least tech savvy person. These questions are terrible for me. I should just ask you them. So what app do I wish was available to agents?
Just to make your life easier.
I don't know, but I use the Canadian mortgage app all the time.
Yeah, I've never been on that one.
It calculates everything for you, like with down payment percentages and everything like that, so you can get a snapshot real quick. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll download that one. But I try to avoid financial advice.
It's not
really
advice. It's
realm.
just it just puts a benchmark out there, right, to see if you're shopping for investment properties, if it's feasible, and you can adjust the rates and everything to the current market.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Other than referrals, if you can pick only one lead pillar, which would you choose?
COI, Center of Influence. Sorry.
Well, that's kind of referrals in a way.
Yeah, but you said referrals, which is
Okay.
okay. Then not COI. I like expired listings. There are not many of those right now in Vancouver real estate, though.
No, but I think we should do an episode on that because I've never
Sure.
been successful with
Oh my God, do you
expired
want to do it
listings.
together? I'll help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay.
I'll get my team to listen to this episode. Yeah.
I'll just come into your new office. I'll just come in and visit.
And give a presentation.
Why not?
Thank
We're
you.
friends.
So yeah, I just want to get real on this episode because there's so many hiccups or inefficient systems that we're inundated with in our everyday like business. And so I thought we would just give our unpopular opinion. And I think we may get some people agreeing with us. And then maybe there are some that's already in the works that we're unaware of. But I feel like a lot of agents are going to feel the same way we do.
I think so.
So you want to start off with one of your kind of pet peeves or like things that you would want to change with the system?
Okay, so I have some pet peeves with the technology that we use through the real estate board in Vancouver that does not work efficiently and creates much more work.
Okay.
But it's with some of the programs.
Okay, which one?
So one of the programs is web forms, which is what we use to draft contracts, listing contracts, sales contracts, a variety of other documents. I found the old system worked better. I don't know if you
I
found
don't
that.
even remember what the whole system was.
It was
It's been so
before they
long.
switched it, but honestly, and I've said this many times, like I'm not a complainer. I know people are doing their best. However, it's important to give these systems and feedback on what's not working. And I've done that many times and it's still not working. So I'm a bit frustrated. But one example is the search function. So the BCFSA wants us to be able to do things properly, of course, and protect the public. But honestly, guys, how do we expect to protect the public if you can't even pull the proper contract that you need when you're searching? Literally, it'll bring up every CPS in every other area of BC except for Vancouver, which is the board that I'm registered to. And I'm going to rant because it makes me really upset. This is 2022. So when you're searching for documents, would you not have, if this was the prime
Filters.
system, the proper filters where if you were like, pick a freaking feature. Do you want us to abbreviate the document to search for it? Or do you want the whole word spelled out? Because haven't you noticed CPS, they abbreviated it. It's a contract of purchase, an agreement for sale, or whatever. But some of the other ones, like a DORTS, disclosure of representation and trading services, you have to write out the whole
Full
thing.
word.
It makes no sense. Please help us. Please help us.
Please help
If
her.
you're listening, no, please help us fix the search capabilities.
Okay. Let's take a breather here.
I really needed this episode.
Let's
Originally, it was
take
for
a
you.
breather.
Thank you. So,
I hear you, girl.
And for yourself?
I hear you.
and for yourself. Something else? What would you like to vent about?
No, I definitely agree with you. I find that web forms has very limited functional features for us. And so we end up having to like search for a very long time for like transactions and templates and everything like that. So yeah. Next one is the technology that we have to use, such as TouchBase. So for those who are not on TouchBase, TouchBase is a system where it offers like a texting service where it's online and when you're trying to contact the other agent, you use this third-party company and you're reaching out to them to request for showings or find out more information about a property. And so when you're sending the information out, it automatically shows the property address, my name, my brokerage, and my phone number, and then whatever message I'm trying to communicate to the other agent. And so lately, like I would say the past 30, 40 days, every time I send a text to the other agent, and when they reply back, my partner, like someone on my team, is getting that text.
I thought we just fixed that for you.
Oh yeah, sorry. That was my bad.
Okay, so and
But
ladies and gents, if you're listening,
wait,
and
my point is that I never set it up that way.
okay, true. She didn't know she had to fix a problem on the back end, and she did not create that problem. It was just there. So that is annoying and unfortunate, but we fixed it. So there's a way to fix it. Most people probably wouldn't know how.
And call Toni if you need it fixed.
Okay. And the next one, the other system?
Oh, yeah. So I would have to say for me, Paragon still needs quite a bit of help on the sorting and like the searching function.
It's so brutal. Guys, the ML Exchange program and Aurora, if you haven't been in real estate long, these are programs we used to use over a decade ago. I think Aurora was before ML Exchange. Regardless, those programs worked better than the ones that we have in 2022. Like, honestly.
I don't remember how the others worked. Can
They
you
were good.
remind me what was the difference? What's the difference for you?
Maybe I'm doing it wrong. So again, if this is a user problem, please feel free to message us directly.
Coming from the not the most technical person.
Yeah, for sure. Well, then it should be not as clunky and user friendly. So two of the features that I remember distinctly from ML Exchange, which I loved, are that you could put in cross streets. Can you do this? Cross streets automatically, and it would pop out the address. Very easy to use. Very easy to do a CMA with active, sold, expired, terminated, and council protected listings. You could run all of them, sort it properly, and it would sort it for you properly. And then if you wanted to print them that way, it would print properly. It doesn't do that, to my knowledge, in Paragon. They're all over the bloody place, and it's not efficient. It takes like 3 times the amount of time.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Okay, so I have one. You know how we have like a lot of offers coming in during multiple offers on a property?
Indeed.
And so we're relying on the listing agent's word that the number of deals that are coming in are truly the number of deals that are coming in. So if he says, or she says there's 5 deals coming in, we're going to rely that there's 5 deals. But how do we know that's true?
Well, I mean,
my client questions that all the time to me, and I said, we just have to trust the system. Sometimes I don't even trust the system, but I have to believe in it. Does
anybody trust the system?
But I have to believe in it. But I have to believe in it. So my recommendation is, why don't we have maybe some sort of system within Paragon or with a third party where we're actually maybe submitting our offers, and then there's like a counter, on the number of offers that have gone in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. It's a possibility. There's also other ways, I think, besides a marketing system / technology system that could be implemented in order to ensure realtors are upholding the code, because I've never lied ever about how many offers we received on a property. And our team standard is that we always provide regular updates on that as much as we can. And you know how it works. Sometimes at the very end, people, like, you'll get stragglers come in. So yeah, if I say 6 offers, it could mean 8. I have no control over that. But I think that there's probably ways at the real estate governance level that for things that can be implemented so that people are doing their job properly.
Well, okay. So right now the BCFSA is doing an audit, and what they're doing is you have to submit all the deals that came in. If you listed your property between February 24th to February 28th, for example, they're actually auditing all the homes that had a offer date between those 4 days. Mm-hmm. And you have to actually submit all your offers and all the communication that you had between all the agents that submitted those offers. So those audits are spot audits, but I would have to say that they're doing it for the wrong reason. The reason why they're trying to do the audit is to figure out if they want to implement this cooling period, which is a whole different topic.
Another issue,
but
ridiculous.
I'm just saying, if we can come up with a system in place.
Sure. I like your way better, especially when we're looping it in with BCFSA and the cooling off period. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I have other things to say about that. For those of you that don't know, the BC Financial Services Authority is the BCFSA, and they're the new governance for Everything real estate
Mm-hmm.
that we do, it used to be the real estate council, but they've taken over the council's role. And some of the protocols and things that they suggest, no offense, guys, I know I might get a reprimand. And unfortunately, we're here to speak truth, okay? So think of it as a way to kindly let you know that certain things can be improved for everybody's benefit. You guys are trying to protect the consumer. We also want that. So actually, we're aligned.
Yes, and
We're
it's
aligned.
up to us to speak up.
That's right, but we have, and no changes yet, probably because it's a large organization and they're doing their best.
And next one, I would love to see the listings on Paragon to be updated when there's an accepted offer
Yeah.
and what the subject removal date is. And as soon as that deal collapses, it triggers back that it's back on the market.
So yes, that would be amazing. And they've done this for a long time in the United States. Like, it's common practice. They know when a property's gone under a contract. They have a different escrow period though, so a little bit different. But I also agree that would be incredibly beneficial and save time. It also is incredibly transparent. So yeah, I would agree with that. That's a good one, Jenny.
Simple and clear, right?
Very simple and very clear. We should also then, sorry, just a related point to that though, be monitoring, and I thought they used to at some point, collapses. I think ML Exchange used to do it. You could see if something actually collapsed. You can't see it anymore in Paragon. Do you see what I'm saying? Paragon. Let's get with the times. Okay, next point. Matchmaking and training services for assistance for assistance or to find a team member. So we're talking about, I guess, putting it out there so that there's just an easy match. We're already all in the system, right?
Yeah, I would not dealing with Indeed or any other
Yes.
recruiting service company, but specifically
A home hub.
who will train, just like somebody who trains virtual assistances.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're just very vague. So I would love to see a company come out with a matchmaking service where you're matching an agent with an assistant, or an agent with another team member or business partner, an agent with a marketing coordinator, or administrative assistant. Wouldn't that be great?
It'd be great.
And they're fully trained already when they come out.
You know what though? These are a lot of great business ideas. Maybe we should just start them ourselves. Okay.
Hey,
Next one.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we
actually
did.
could. There's some really good ideas here. I have some other ones too, which are unrelated to this topic. So for a different episode.
Okay. I'm gonna.
You have
talk
a
about
rant. You have a
I'm gonna
rant.
talk about this one because this is my idea of these agents that are currently specializing in resale.
Yes.
Okay, I love you guys. And thanks for listening to us. But why are you guys in pre-sale? Okay, I'm gonna change my wording here. What I mean by that is, when you are going to take on a contract with a developer, you have to charge them. You can't just take them on and try to be an advocate for them, be an ambassador, try to post a lot of material on your social media, pretend that you have VVIP access to the site. At the end of the day, you are actually working for free. You're actually working for free, and it doesn't do the business good, because there are companies like myself who have a project marketing company and have built a reputation for but specializing in pre-sales. But I also have, there's a way to structure how to get paid.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have something to this point as well, and I want you finish your rant first, and it's related directly to what you're saying.
So a lot of agents nowadays, they're willing to take on these contracts or partner up with these developers at no charge, and all they're doing is really just trying to get buyers to the site by pretending or by saying that they can get early access. But at the end of the day, they should really put together some sort of a partnership agreement or some sort of referral agreement. But yeah, all I know is that there's a lot of agents that are doing it out there that are not getting paid for it.
So I have something, and I agree with you that you guys have to be paid for your services, okay? Know your worth. We've talked about that before on the podcast, and it's not coming from a place of, oh, you're trying to ding people. Absolutely not. Know your worth and know your service and stand up for that. And you got to live too, right? But to what you were saying, I think this relates to, so Warren and I had a conversation. It was 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was directly related to what you're saying, but in the resale world. Here's why. Real estate is one of the only professions, it's ridiculous, where resale agents as well, you don't take an upfront fee. You don't take a deposit from a client. So what can happen in a downward market if you're not incredibly choosy with clients and pre-qualifying them properly is if you've got 10 listings and it costs, depending on how large the property is and what it is, you're already in for the 10 listings for marketing at least $10,000, okay? At least, because the costs of everything have gone up. It costs more to market a larger home for the floor plans and everything like that, right? Mm-hmm. We're the only industry that doesn't take a retainer. It's fucking ridiculous. I know. This is going to get flagged now on the system, but I'm going to say it this way. We actually looked at implementing a retainer fee up front because this is the only industry where it's like, yeah, sure, let me help you sell your place. And by the way, I'm going to put up $1,000 to $1,500, but it's okay. If you don't sell, it's just all for free and whatever. No, absolutely not. Do you ask a lawyer to represent you and they just give advice for free? Absolutely not. So it started with your rant and then I went into mine.
No, and that was one thing I do want to add as well is that we don't get paid until the deal is done. And so they may never buy. They may take a year to buy.
Yeah. So your time, again, is your most precious commodity besides, but time is important. It's a resource. So yeah, I echo what you're saying. We're actually looking at doing that with our resale clients. And I think one of the fears and hesitations about doing that, it's like, oh, well, other people aren't. Well, who gives a shit what other people are doing? Be the forefront. Normally, if you ask for something and you're worth it, it just happens. And then that becomes the new trend. So be a trendsetter. Don't be afraid. Don't make decisions from fear. Actually, yeah, we're going to do that. My team, are you listening to this podcast today? We're doing that this week. It's actually going to be in the contracts as well. Okay, next point.
Can you actually tell our listeners how much you would be actually taking?
For a retainer?
The retainer.
So, I mean, that's the other thing. I just decided this on the podcast that we were actually going to implement it. But I'm okay even with doing a retainer is a partial amount, right? To cover the marketing costs.
Yeah. So would you say like 1,000 or 25%?
I'd probably, honestly, I'd probably do $1,000 to $1,500 depending on what the property is. I mean, why not? If the person's going to sell, like you're listing their house for a reason, right? If they're a serious seller and they know that you're going to look after everything for them and do a kick-ass job, this is not a big deal because there's different ways of doing it too. You could rebate that back to them once the home sells. You could, right? That's how the actual retainer would technically work. Or you could just say, like what you do with developers, they actually pay for their own marketing costs, right? You could, if you wanted to, offset it on the client. I mean, I'm okay with either. I no longer want to be putting up, it's thousands and thousands of dollars of my own money and capital. It doesn't make sense. We're the only industry that does it. I would seriously, if you're listening to this, let us know your thoughts on this because a change only happens with one person. I mean, even the standard commission, like let's talk about this for a second too. In the States, the standard is 6% typically across the board on the purchase price. The 6% is often split like 3% for the listing realtor, 3% for the buyer's agent. Members of the public here think that we just get paid a lot. Well, you get paid to be inconvenienced as well. It also takes time away from your family, right? Because you're dealing with their stuff. So 7% on the first 100,000 and anywhere from what is it, like 2.5% all the way up to 4%. It's pretty typical, but we were one of the first people that started doing that too. And people were like, what the heck, why?
Right, the tiered. Yeah, across Canada, it's not.
Anyhow, next one.
Um, agents must work full time, not part time.
Yeah, this has bothered me since I entered my real estate career over a decade ago. Why don't you tell people why, for you, it's an issue?
Yeah, no. I feel like you're not able to service your clients fully. Like if you're busy with your other job, or if you're busy doing other things, and you're not taking real estate as an actual business, where you have to really keep up with the market, keep up with the changes that are happening day to day, and as well. I also believe, like in this business, clients move on really quickly and they bounce out and in with their agents, and so you do have to know that you can't really assume your clients will be loyal to you. So that's why I always say, when you're coming into this industry, that your whole heart and your intention is to actually create something that's full time.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that it's interesting when you look at the Vancouver real estate market and you see when it appreciates, right? Like when the prices go up, you always also see a correlation between new agents getting in. If you're getting in this business just to make a quick buck, think again. One, that would be very egocentric. Not that there's anything wrong with making money, but two, you can't be client-based and customer-focused from there necessarily. I mean, some people could. So I think that the working full-time and creating a business rather than part-time is actually better for consumer protection in most cases.
And talking about consumer protection, this last point was actually brought up by my new office admin, Rosemary. And this, basically, we were talking about privacy protection. So if you actually have a client that has signed off that they don't want their name disclosed on a listing, but then you have to upload the listing first, their name is shown, we have to wait a few days for the real estate board to actually change it to privacy protected. Like, well, their name has already been shown for at least 48 hours.
Well, there's two things there, though, actually. They need to change it entirely. But keep going with what you're going.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
So we called about that before, too. But there's actually two things. So one, as long as the listing is active, the name does have to show up with an asterisk saying privacy protected. The reason why is because it pulls the name from there to go into web forms. So if the listing is active, you always see the name. The only time the name goes away is if it's sold, terminated, or canceled.
No, see, so
that's what they told me, and that's what's
inconsistent.
happened.
This is where it's inconsistent.
But
I can show
them.
you, I can pull up listings where right now it says privacy protected and it's active. I can show you listings where it's privacy protected, asterisk, asterisk, with the name.
Real estate board, I've called about this multiple times, and you have told me that it is not possible because the client didn't want their name up, and that was the reason that was given to me.
No, well, I mean,
I'm gonna have to call
what's
them again.
ridiculous is that why can't we change it? It doesn't make any sense. If we're able to broker load and agent load, like we should be able to change it, especially when we have paperwork to back up that they don't want their name to be disclosed. And secondly, we're going to have to provide a title search anyways. So really, what does that name do?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. And also, though, the process for which they were having people send in the privacy protected before, ridiculous.
Yeah.
Send it in with the listing. Like, I don't understand. Why can't the systems be set up for that? It's just efficient. Why would we have to email it in a second time? I don't know if that's what they're still telling people, but that was what they told us before. It's not efficient.
Well, we got everything off your chest.
No, I have one more.
Oh.
Sorry, now you open the bottle, okay? This was your idea for a topic, and now
That's
Toni
fine.
can't shut up. So I have a real problem with this. I have a problem with this. So the BCFSA, I agree that it is super important to be transparent with clients. We are all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the requirements, like, if you're dealing with, like, let's say you get 10 multiple offers on a property, and you have to fill out the disclosure of remuneration with each and every one for each and every counter.
Oh, yes. Okay. I know where you're going with this.
You know where I'm going with this because it's not common sense. I'm sorry. BCFSA, the most important thing here is to make sure that the consumer is protected. Yes, you can achieve that without having that ridiculous rule in place. Even if there were the top 3 offers and they were very similar in price, you can calculate it very easily. The seller will know exactly how much commissions they're paying. In fact, our team calculates that for each client before they list the property. We give them a range. We calculate it for them anyhow. Some of these rules and regulations create unnecessary work, and I'm sorry, but though the unnecessary work doesn't necessarily mean better protection for the consumer. So why not adjust it to a way where, yeah, you're protecting the consumer, but you're achieving what you want to achieve without creating multiple streams of paperwork, which are unnecessary and uneventful. Okay, that's it. I just had to say that. I'm like, it's so stupid.
No, that is great. That is a good point. I'm glad you brought that one up. Forgot about that one.
I'm just so angry about that one.
It's a lot of time. Especially since we're like getting like 20 offers at a time.
But again, it's not about not doing the job, okay? BCFSA and real estate agents, you 100% still have to be transparent and calculate these things for your client. There's just a better way to do it. Some of these rules need to change a bit.
And sometimes, isn't there one of the forms, like the DRT form, where it's like optional for this client to initial?
No.
Are you sure?
So you mean on the direction of offer presentations?
Which one are you talking about? The disclosure, your relationship with a real estate professional. It says that it's optional for them to sign.
Like, come on. If you're going to be auditing our brokerages, hold on, let's go there too. If you're going to be auditing our brokerages, then you don't make something like that optional. Because I'll tell you what happens. You'll pull a file, be like, oh, did the agent go through this? Oh, they didn't? They signed it. What the hell is the point of having the agent make sure to sign this saying they've gone over it and not having the client initial? There's no point to that. Please look at these policies immediately.
And here's the thing, I know my brokerage won't pay out until we actually get that signed. So then obviously it is required.
Well, that's it should be required.
It's a policy from
because
my
us too,
brokerage.
it's like, how are we supposed to verify that they've actually seen this through us?
Right.
And at what time, right? Because you're supposed to show this to the client as soon as you start really working with it, even before.
Yeah, so I don't understand why the form says optional initials for the disclosure, representation, and trading services, BCFSA. And we're done. Thanks for letting us vomit all the problems that, these holes that are...
This is actually, I want to add one last thing. This is coming from a good place because obviously we don't like being negative. We like living from a place of love. And from here, it's also important to, make people aware of these things. Are you realtors feeling the same way? What are your thoughts? How can we make it better?
Thanks, guys, for listening.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.